Ladies and gentlemen, let's face the uncomfortable truth together today. Life is a journey of relationships, and relationships come with one guarantee: hurt. Yes, everyone else is going to hurt you. Friends, family, colleagues, strangers, you name it. But don't mistake this as a call to despair. It's a call to awaken. Let's start with the reality of imperfection. People aren't perfect. They're flawed, broken, trying to figure things out just like you. The truth is, the ones who hurt you most deeply are often the ones closest to you, not because they hate you, but because they're human. Expecting perfection from others is setting yourself up for heartbreak. So today I challenge you. Take people off those pedestals. Free them from the weight of your expectations. When you understand that everyone is flawed, their actions will stop surprising you, and you'll stop giving them the power to break you. And here's where we get real about expectations versus reality. We walk around expecting people to always understand, to always support, to always be kind. But let me tell you something. That's not how this works. People have bad days. They make mistakes. They'll forget to show up for you. And sometimes they'll disappoint you in ways you never saw coming. When you embrace this truth, you stop taking things so personally. You learn to manage your expectations, not to lower them, but to align them with reality. But here's a secret. Hurt is a mirror. When someone lashes out, betrays you, or breaks your trust, it says more about them than it does about you. Painful words often come from wounded souls. Cruel actions often come from people fighting battles you can't see. So don't carry their baggage on your back. Let their actions be a mirror that reflects their struggles, not your worth. Now, I'm not saying that the pain doesn't matter. It matters. But forgiveness is the weapon of the strong. When you forgive, you don't erase what they did. You release what they did. You set yourself free. Because holding on to anger, that's like drinking poison and expecting them to suffer. Forgiveness isn't about letting them off the hook. It's about unhooking yourself from the chains of bitterness. But here's the beauty in all this: growth through pain. Every betrayal, every heartbreak, every letdown is a lesson, a stepping stone to becoming wiser, stronger, more resilient. Let the hurt refine you, not define you. Instead of asking, "Why did they do this to me?" start asking, "What can I learn from this?" Because every hurt holds a lesson if you're willing to see it. Finally, guard your heart, but don't close it. Yes, people will hurt you. Yes, trust will be broken. But don't let that make you bitter. Don't let that make you cold. Build boundaries, not walls. Protect your peace, but don't shut out love. Because the same world that brings you pain is the same world that brings you joy, connection, and meaning. And trust me, that's worth the risk. So, my friends, let's learn this hard truth together. Everyone else is going to hurt you, but the real question is, what will you do with that hurt? Will it make you bitter, or will it make you better? The choice is yours, and I hope you choose better. Always better. Let's start with the reality of imperfection. Every single person you encounter, no matter how loving, kind, or well-intentioned they are, is flawed. We live in a world where people are carrying their own burdens, battling insecurities, and making mistakes. Sometimes they'll hurt you without even realizing it. They'll say the wrong thing at the wrong time. They'll forget something important to you, and sometimes they'll fail to show up when you need them most. It doesn't mean they don't care, it just means they're human. Think about the people closest to you, the ones you trust and love. They are the most capable of causing you pain because they occupy a space in your heart. But pain doesn't always come from malicious intent. Often it's a byproduct of misunderstandings, miscommunications, or moments of weakness. We tend to place high expectations on those closest to us, believing they should never disappoint us. But expecting perfection is like expecting the sun to never set. It's unrealistic, and it sets you up for disappointment. Understanding imperfection means accepting that people are not superheroes. Even those with the purest intentions are limited by their experiences, traumas, and shortcomings. If you can begin to view people through the lens of grace, you'll stop demanding perfection and start seeing them for who they truly are. And when someone's actions hurt you, it won't be the earth-shattering devastation it once was. Instead, you'll be able to say, "I see your humanity. I understand." This doesn't mean you excuse bad behavior. It doesn't mean you allow people to repeatedly hurt you. What it does mean is that you approach life with more compassion and less resentment. Because when you learn to let go of the need for perfection in others, you also free yourself from carrying unnecessary bitterness. We often walk through life with a picture in our minds of how people should act, how they should treat us, how they should respond to our needs, how they should show up in difficult moments. These expectations are built from our hopes, our desires, and sometimes even from stories we've created in our heads about what love and friendship should look like. But here's the truth. Life doesn't play out like a script, and people rarely fit into the roles we've assigned them. When our expectations clash with reality, the result is pain, disappointment, and even resentment. Think about it. You may expect a close friend to always support you in the same way you would support them. You may expect a partner to understand your feelings without you needing to explain them. Or you may expect family to always offer unconditional love and acceptance. And while those expectations seem reasonable on the surface, they often don't align with reality. People are not mind readers. They bring their own baggage, their own priorities, and sometimes their own blind spots. When they fail to meet your expectations, it's not necessarily because they don't care. Often, it's because they can't give you what you were looking for in the way you imagine. Unrealistic expectations are the root of so much of the hurt we experience. The tighter we cling to those expectations, the more painful it is when they shatter. But when we begin to let go of these rigid ideas of how people should behave, we open the door to acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean you settle for less or tolerate mistreatment. It means you stop demanding perfection and start recognizing what's real. You give people the space to be who they are, not who you think they should be. This shift also empowers you to respond differently when someone lets you down. Instead of falling into despair or anger, you begin to see things clearly. You understand that their actions are a reflection of their limitations, not your value. You can address the situation calmly and choose how to proceed without carrying the weight of unmet expectations. Learning to manage your expectations isn't about losing hope or becoming cynical. It's about approaching life with clarity. It's about embracing the truth that relationships are messy and people will sometimes fall short. When you let go of unrealistic expectations, you create more room for compassion, more room for grace, and ultimately, more room for peace within yourself. When someone hurts you, it's natural to internalize the pain. You may wonder what you did wrong or why you weren't enough. But the truth is, most of the time the hurtful actions of others are not a reflection of your worth. They are a reflection of their own struggles, insecurities, and inner battles. Hurt acts as a mirror, revealing what's happening within the person who caused it, rather than defining who you are. Think about it. When someone lashes out with anger, it's often because they are carrying unprocessed frustration, fear, or pain. They may be dealing with rejection, loss, or even childhood wounds they never healed. When they betray your trust, it may stem from their own inability to be vulnerable or their fear of intimacy. And when they criticize or put you down, it's often because they're wrestling with their own feelings of inadequacy. In these moments, their actions are not about you. They are about the unresolved chaos within them. Understanding this doesn't mean you have to tolerate being mistreated. You are not obligated to stay in relationships that are toxic or harmful. But what it does mean is that you can stop absorbing their actions as proof of your own flaws. You can stop asking, "What did I do to deserve this?" and instead ask, "What is this showing me about them?" This shift is liberating because it helps you detach from the pain and see it for what it truly is. Seeing hurt as a mirror also allows you to cultivate empathy without sacrificing your boundaries. You can recognize that someone is hurting while still choosing to protect yourself. You don't have to respond with anger or retaliation. Instead, you can respond with clarity and grace, knowing that their behavior is more about their inner world than it is about you. This perspective doesn't erase the sting of betrayal, rejection, or disappointment, but it does give you power. The power to not let their actions define your worth. It allows you to stop carrying their pain as your burden and start walking in your own truth. You are worthy, whole, and enough, just as you are, and no one else's behavior can take that from you. Forgiveness is one of the most misunderstood concepts in life. Many people believe that forgiving someone means excusing their behavior or letting them off the hook for what they did. But forgiveness is not about them, it's about you. It's about reclaiming your peace, your joy, and your emotional freedom. When you forgive, you don't erase the hurt. You release the grip that hurt has on your life. You set yourself free from carrying the heavy chains of resentment and bitterness. When someone wrongs you, it's easy to replay the offense over and over in your mind. Every time you revisit the pain, it's like pouring salt on an open wound. It eats away at your peace and leaves you feeling stuck in the past. You may hold on to anger, thinking it will somehow punish the other person, but the truth is, holding on to that anger only punishes you. It keeps you tethered to the very person who hurt you. They may have moved on, but you're still carrying the weight of what they did. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or minimizing the pain. It doesn't mean you allow someone back into your life if they continue to be toxic. Forgiveness is a boundary that says, "I refuse to let your actions control me any longer. I refuse to let what you did define my future." It's about taking back your power. When you choose to forgive, you're no longer a prisoner to the past. You're free to move forward with strength and clarity. Forgiveness also brings healing. The moment you decide to forgive, a shift happens within you. You stop focusing on the offense and start focusing on your own growth. You let go of the anger and bitterness that have been weighing you down. That doesn't mean the pain disappears overnight, but it does mean you've taken the first step toward true healing. And here's something beautiful about forgiveness. It creates space for compassion. You begin to see that hurt people hurt people. The person who betrayed or wounded you may have been acting out of their own brokenness. That doesn't excuse their behavior, but it does help you understand that their actions were a reflection of their inner struggles, not a reflection of your worth. Forgiveness isn't easy. It takes courage to let go of the hurt and choose healing over bitterness. But when you forgive, you're not just setting them free, you're setting yourself free. You're breaking the cycle of pain and stepping into a life of peace, strength, and resilience. And that kind of freedom is priceless. Pain is one of life's greatest teachers, even though it's a lesson we never ask for. Every betrayal, heartbreak, and disappointment carries with it an opportunity for growth. When you're hurt, it's easy to feel stuck in the story of what happened, stuck in the questions of why it happened, and stuck in the emotions of anger, sadness, or even shame. But pain, when embraced with the right mindset, can be a catalyst for transformation. It has the power to refine you, strengthen you, and reveal parts of yourself you never knew existed. When you're in the midst of pain, it's hard to see beyond the hurt. But if you allow yourself to step back and reflect, you'll often find that pain is pointing you towards something deeper. Maybe it's showing you a blind spot, a place where you need to heal or grow. Maybe it's teaching you to let go of control, to set better boundaries, or to trust yourself more. Or maybe it's revealing the truth about a relationship or situation you needed to see. Pain doesn't come without purpose. It's a messenger. And when you listen, you can uncover lessons that help you evolve into a stronger version of yourself. Growth through pain also means learning how to build resilience. Every time you face a painful experience and choose not to be defeated by it, you're building emotional strength. You're learning that you are capable of surviving even the toughest storms, and not just surviving, you're learning how to thrive. You come out on the other side of pain with a deeper understanding of who you are and what you're capable of handling. You begin to see that pain didn't break you, it built you. But growth doesn't happen automatically. You have to choose it. You have to decide that you won't let the pain define you, that you won't let bitterness or victimhood take root in your heart. You have to ask yourself, what can I learn from this? And how can I use this experience to become better, wiser, and more compassionate? It's not about denying the hurt or pretending it didn't happen. It's about transforming that hurt into fuel for your growth. Through pain, you also gain empathy. You start to see that everyone carries their own wounds, just like you. And that understanding allows you to show up in the world with more kindness and patience, not just for others, but for yourself. You stop seeing pain as something to avoid and start seeing it as a tool for shaping your character. In the end, pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. You may not have control over the pain that enters your life, but you do have control over what you do with it. You can choose to let it consume you, or you can choose to let it refine you. The choice is yours, and when you choose growth, you come out stronger, wiser, and ready for whatever life throws your way. When you've been hurt, it's natural to want to protect yourself from ever feeling that kind of pain again. Your heart tells you to build walls, to shut people out, and to trust no one. And for a time, those walls may feel like protection, a way to make sure you're never vulnerable again. But there's a danger in closing your heart too tightly. You may keep pain out, but you also keep out love, joy, and connection, the very things that make life worth living. Guarding your heart is about finding balance. It doesn't mean shutting down or becoming cold. It means learning how to protect yourself in a healthy way without losing your capacity to love and trust. It starts with boundaries, knowing what behavior is acceptable and what isn't, and having the courage to stand by those boundaries. If someone repeatedly disrespects you or takes advantage of your kindness, guarding your heart means stepping away from that relationship, not out of bitterness, but out of self-respect. But guarding your heart doesn't mean shutting people out at the first sign of trouble. It's about discernment, being wise about who you let into your life and how much of yourself you share with them. Trust is something that should be earned, not given away freely. And if someone proves untrustworthy, it's okay to adjust how much access they have to your heart. At the same time, you have to stay open to new possibilities. If you close your heart completely, you may avoid pain, but you'll also miss out on the beauty of connection. Yes, opening your heart carries risks. You may get hurt again, but you may also find love, friendship, and moments of deep connection that heal and uplift you. The key is to approach life with courage, knowing that while you can't control how others behave, you can control how you respond. One of the most powerful ways to guard your heart without closing it is to cultivate self-love. When you truly value yourself, you won't settle for relationships that drain you or leave you feeling small. You'll know your worth, and you'll choose connections that align with that worth. Self-love also allows you to bounce back from pain with resilience, because you're not looking for others to define your value. You already know who you are. Finally, guarding your heart means keeping bitterness at bay. Pain has a way of hardening the heart if you let it. But if you hold on to forgiveness, empathy, and grace, your heart stays soft. You stay open to life, to love, and to all the beauty that's still out there waiting for you. It takes strength to keep your heart open after it's been hurt, but that strength is what will allow you to thrive in the face of life's challenges, with a heart that is both protected and fully alive. Learn that everyone else is going to hurt you. Life is a journey filled with connections, relationships, and moments of trust. And along the way, one thing is certain: you will get hurt. Friends will disappoint you, loved ones will let you down, and even strangers may wound you. But this truth doesn't have to leave you bitter. It can set you free if you choose to let it. The reality is that no one is perfect. Everyone you meet is navigating their own struggles, flaws, and insecurities. And sometimes they'll hurt you, not out of malice, but because of their own limitations. When you stop expecting people to be flawless, you free yourself from the endless cycle of disappointment. You begin to accept that imperfection is part of the human experience, and that acceptance brings peace. But hurt often stems from expectations that don't match reality. We place hopes on others to always understand, always show up, and always love us the way we need. Yet people cannot read your mind, nor can they always meet your unspoken needs. When you align your expectations with the reality of who people are, you stop taking their actions so personally. You start seeing them for who they are, not who you imagine they should be. And here's the truth: when someone hurts you, it's often a reflection of their own struggles. Pain is a mirror that reveals their wounds, their fears, and their brokenness, not your worth. Don't let their actions define you. Don't carry their baggage as your own. Instead, recognize that their behavior says more about them than it ever could about you. Forgiveness is your most powerful tool for freedom. It doesn't mean excusing the hurt or pretending it never happened. It means letting go of the anger and resentment that are holding you hostage. Forgiveness is not for them, it's for you. It's your way of saying, you no longer have power over me. When you forgive, you reclaim your peace and take back control of your life. And through all of this, remember that pain has the power to transform you. Every hurt carries a lesson, a new level of understanding, and an opportunity for growth. You can let the pain harden you, or you can let it refine you. Choose to let it strengthen you, to make you wiser and more resilient. Let it remind you of your ability to rise above and thrive no matter what life throws your way. Lastly, guard your heart, but don't close it. Protect your peace, set healthy boundaries, and be mindful of who you allow into your inner world. But never let the fear of being hurt stop you from living fully, because while people may hurt you, they can also bring love, connection, and joy. Don't let the past rob you of future possibilities. So yes, everyone else is going to hurt you in some way, but that doesn't have to be the end of your story. You have the power to accept their imperfections, adjust your expectations, release the pain, and grow beyond it. And in doing so, you'll walk through life with strength, wisdom, and a heart that is protected but still wide open to all the beauty life has to offer.